Good morning students, welcome back to computer science class. Today here I am going to explain you about compiling, linking and loading a program. And these three phases will take place in a program execution. So when you write any program, we'll use any programming language. Okay, so whatever program you have written, that program is called as a source. Okay, and in whichever language you have written the program, that is called as a source language. Okay, whatever code you have written, whatever programming code you have written, that is called as a source code. So in order to execute that program, whatever program you have written, that should be converted into a machine language. So finally, whatever programs you have written, that should be converted from source language to the machine language. Okay, what is the source language? In whichever language you have written the programming code, that is called as a source language. So whatever program it may be, finally that should be converted into either machine language or an assembly language. So the two languages are called as a target languages. Understood? So using a compilation process, whatever code you have written in the source language, that should be converted from source language to the machine language. Understood? What is the compilation? Compilation is the process of converting your source code, translating your source code into a machine code. It's very important. In every semester you will get what is a compilation. Compilation is a process of converting or translating your source code into machine code. And when you will compile this program, whatever error, example, if there is any error in the program, that will be detected and that will be corrected by the user. So compilation is a process of converting source code into a machine code, means is nothing but the target code, and meanwhile if there is any error in the program, that will be corrected by the user. Okay, so maximum always nowadays the source language, whatever program you have written, that is called as a source code, and in whichever language you have written, that is called as a source language. So nowadays the maximum commonly used source languages are high level languages like a C, C++, Java, and targeted language is, it may be a machine language or it may be an assembly language. If it is a machine language, so directly whatever code you have written, that will be converted into a machine language. There is no further translation. But whatever code you have written, if it is converting, the target language is the assembly language, then again we need a translator, like assembler, to translate your assembly language into a object code, and that object code is linked with the different object modules, and your program will be executed, and whatever program is executed, that is stored on second storage devices. When you want to execute any program, then program from the second storage device is loaded into your main memory. Okay, only one point is there. Compilation is a process of converting your source language into machine language, target language. That target language can be a machine language or it may be an assembly language. If it is the assembly language, again it needs a further translation. Clear? Understood? Now, when you are compiling a program, means when you are translating your source code into a machine code in the binary code, here we have a different types of steps. That steps you need to follow. And it's very important in the exam also, you have to write this steps. Okay, if you present pictorially, it is very good. Now I'll give you the picture of compilation and compiling, linking and loading your program. Step by step process I will give. Now here you can see the step by step process, means how your source code is converted into a machine code. Okay, so these are the different steps internally. These are all invoked. These are all called when your program is executed. Okay, so you take a screenshot of this. It's very important compilation process. Now we'll discuss each and every step of the compilation. Now the first one, just now I have explained what is a source program. Whatever program you have written, whatever program the user has written, that is called as a source program. Maximum nowadays To write a source program, we are using only the high level languages like C, C++, Java, such type of languages we are using. Using that language, if you are writing any program, that is called as a source program. Remember only one point, whatever program the user has written, that program is called as a source program, source code. Understood? Whatever program you have written, what it is? It is a source program. Now, the lexical analysis. The next step is a lexical analysis. And the lexical analysis, actually what it is example, you are writing a program. Simple program I will give you. It's a main function. What it is later you can see. Here I am writing a program to calculate sum of two numbers. First one is int a equals to 10, b equals to 20, c equals to a plus b. Example, simple program it is. Now I am printing this. Printf %ld. It is a C programming. Later I will explain what it is. This is a simple program to calculate sum of two numbers. So in this program, whatever keywords, whatever program words you use. So in the program, whatever words you used and that words are already defined within the program, or you are using your own words. If you are using your own words, your own name, that are called as identifier. So in the lexical analysis, what we are doing is what keywords used. Means from software you will get some predefined words. So whatever keywords used, whatever identifiers used, that will classify in the lexical analysis. Okay. So if the user has used some identifiers, identifier means I have used my own name. Here int, you are getting this word from a software and this from a this name is given by the user. So this user can give any name like A, he can give A1, he can give A2, he can give whatever name you want to give, he can give. But some conditions are applied. That conditions in coming topics I will explain. So whatever words, whatever names the user has given, that are called as the identifiers. So in the lexical analysis, what we are doing is whatever words used in the program, we are classifying that words. Means what words you are getting from a software, that are called as the keywords, and what user has given, that are called as the identifiers. Classification can be done in a lexical analysis. So in the classification, keywords, some specific meaning is there, that is different. When you are coming to identifier, user has given some name, like in this example I have given A, I have given B is a username, C is also username. This printf, int and main are the words you are getting from a software. Okay, the coming topics I will explain that. Just a time when you try to understand. When you are writing a program, we'll use some words, and that words, in that some words, some from programming software and some from user can use some words. His own words you can use. So whatever words you are getting to write a program from the software, that are called as the keywords. And whatever words you are using by your own, like A, B, C, D, characters, or it may be number, whatever it may be, that will come under identifiers. So if the user has used any identifier in the programming, in the lexical analysis process, what we are doing is, we are maintaining one table. In that table, whatever words the user used and what type of word it is a character or text, what is the use of that? That information will maintain in a one table in the lexical analysis process, and that table is called as a symbol. Okay, so that is a lexical analysis. Only one point is there here, we are writing a program. When you are writing a program, we'll use different combination of words. In that combination, few words you will get from a software and few words you can give by your own. Whatever words you have given, that are called as identifier. And whatever words you got from a software, that are called as the keywords. So if it is a keyword, you no need to maintain any information. But if it is an identifier, internally it will maintain a table, and that table contains information about that identifier. So what is the name of the identifier? What type of value it is? It is either text or number, or what type of value it is. What type of identifier it is. We'll maintain that information inside the symbol table. Okay. Now, the next one is a syntactical analysis. Syntactical analysis means syntactical analysis. In the syntactical analysis, actually what happened is whatever program you have written, actually whatever program it may be or whatever language it may be, everything should be correct. Means program should be according to the syntax of the programming. Syntax is nothing but the vocabulary. So example, in English language you have a vocabulary noun like that. Similarly, whenever you are writing any program in a C programming or in a C++, Java, that program should be according to the rules of that program. So whenever you are writing a program, that program should be according to the rules of that program. So whether your program is written according to the rules or not, will check inside a syntactical analysis. Syntax is nothing but the vocabulary of that programming language, rule of that programming language. So whenever you are writing any program, that program should be according to the rules of that programming language. So in the syntactical analysis, what we are doing is whatever statements you have written, whatever identifiers you have written, whatever keywords you have used, all those according to the rules that vocabulary is used or not, will check inside the syntactical analysis. Syntax means what? Vocabulary of that programming, rules of that programming language, and these rules are different from one programming language to another programming language. Now we come to the semantic analysis. In the semantic analysis, actually what happened is, if we are writing a program, and the program, example, some 20 to 30 lines program is there. So when 20 to 30 lines program is there, then for each and every line, if one line is executed, what happened? What is the meaning of that line? That extra information will add inside the semantic analysis. Okay, so if one line is executed, what is the meaning of that? If it is executed, what happened? That type of information will analyze what is the use of that line. We will analyze in a semantic analysis. Okay, now the next one is a intermediate code generation. What is intermediate code? It is between the starting and the ending. Okay, whatever code, whatever language, actually whatever program you have written, that is also called as a code. Whatever code you have written, that is a source code. And your program, if you want to store your program into the system, then your code should be machine code. So source code, machine code, in between these two, whatever code is there, that is called as an intermediate code. Okay, the maximum 90%, the intermediate code is a assembly language code. So whenever you write your program, if intermediate code is there, maximum it is the assembly language code only. Understood? So whatever program you have written, that is in a source code. When you want to execute that program, sometimes directly in few languages, directly this source code is translated into machine code. Okay, but in few cases, what happened? Whatever source code you have written, that is not directly translated into a machine code. In between, one more code will use, that is called as assembly language. Already I have explained, assembly language is a symbolic code. Okay, it is very close to the machine language. So in order to increase the efficiency of the program, in order to optimize the program efficiency, in order to increase the speed of the program execution, in between we'll use a assembly language code, and assembly language code is very close to your machine code. And this assembly language code, finally it is translated into a machine language. Okay, now come to the next one, code generation. Here actually what is a code generation is, here it is actually what is a code generation is, in intermediate code generation also the code is generated. Here also one code is generated. Here you are getting one code, here one code you are getting. This is the intermediate code and this is the final code. Intermediate code means assembly language code. What I already explained here, assembly language is converted into a machine code by using an assembler. Okay, so whatever code is there in the assembly language, finally that is converted into a machine language. This is the final phase. Here whatever source code you have written, that is converted into the machine language. Clear? Now, after converting the machine language, one more is there, object to program and linker. Okay, so in using the object to program and linker, what happened is, whenever you are writing a program, we'll use different functions, different statements from the programming language. So, and all those files are stored in a system library. Okay, in the system it will store. So, when your program is executed, all those files should be invoked, all those functionalities should be called in your program so that you will get a desired result. Okay, you have given one function, example, and this printf is one function. So, but what is the use of this and what are the instructions needed for this? All those instructions I have not written. From where you will get? From library files you will get. So, in a linker, that library files will be linked so that your program should be executed, your program can be executed successfully. Understood? So, next, after executing, whatever output file you will get, that is nothing but the executable code. So finally, we moved from your source code to the executable code. What is the source code? Whatever program the user has written, that is the source code. Whatever output you got from the system, that is nothing but the machine code, executable code. So in between, from source code to the machine code, here we have a number of steps, but that number of steps are invisible to the user. This feature is called as a abstraction, hiding unnecessary information. Clear? So here what happened? Only we know this, and you have to do the compilation. So when you compile the program, internally all the steps are invoked, but user knows only the compilation. What is going on inside, we don't know. Understood? So this is about your compilation process. Now let me revise whatever points I have explained to you. Okay, actually what it is, what topic it is. I am writing one program because you are computer science students. You will write program in a C++, Java, in other programming language. So whatever program you have written, what it is a source code. After writing the program, what I will do, I will save the file, and after saving the file, I want to execute the program. Okay, so execute the program is because why you are executing? Because I want to see the output from that program. So when you want to execute the program, in between from your program input to the output, there are number of steps, number of files has to be linked. Okay, so that topic this is. Okay, so whatever program you wrote, that is nothing but the source program. Who will write the source program? The user will write the source code. Okay, so after writing the source program, what you will do? Just you want to execute the program. So when you press the compilation button, internally these steps will take place. What is the first one? Lexical analysis. In the lexical analysis, what we are doing, actually whatever program you have written, no? In that program, actually it is a combination of some user words, some system, some program words. Whatever programming words are there, that are called as the keywords. Whatever user words are there, that are called as the identifiers. Okay, so here you need to classify internally the compiler will classify the user words, means it will separate the user words, it will separate the identifiers, system words and keywords. So system words, user words. System words are nothing but the programming words. That programming words are called as the keywords. Whatever user words are there, that are called as the identifiers. So whenever the user used any identifier, what is the name of the identifier? What is the type of the identifier? That information we have to store. That information will store inside a table. That is called as a symbol table. That process takes place in a lexical analysis. The next one is syntactic analysis. What is a syntax actually? It is a rule of that programming language. It is a grammar of that programming language. So whatever program you have written, that program should be according to the grammar of that program. Okay, so in the third step, what compiler is doing is whatever program the user has written, that is according to the vocabulary of the program or not. If it is according to the vocabulary of the program, it will go to the next step. If it is not according to the vocabulary of the program, it will give that error information to the user. In a particular line, this error is there. That information is given to the user back. And when the user correct the program, again he will press the compilation button. Again these steps are taken place. Now syntactical. Now in the semantic analysis. The semantic analysis whatever it is, whenever you write the program, it may contain minimum 10 to 20 lines. What is the use of that line? And when that line will be executed, what will happen? Okay, that information you will get inside the semantic analysis. Clear? Now, come to the intermediate code. Before the final code and after the source code, in between, one code is generated. That code is called as an intermediate code. In the intermediate code, what happened is actually, it will optimize, it will increase the performance of the program. Maximum 90% intermediate code is assembly language. Okay? Excuse me. Assembly language, and that assembly language is converted into the machine language in order to give the executable code. So that is the intermediate code. The next one is the code generation. Code generation means here your assembly language is converted into the machine language. This is the final stage. So after generating the machine language, so whatever functions you have used in the program, whatever system programming functions you have used in the program, that functions instructions should be loaded into your program. Then only that function will be executed. Otherwise, that function will not be executed. So, whatever instructions are needed to execute that program, that will be loaded into your system. Okay, so that is the linking phase. So, when that functions are loaded into your program will be executed successfully. So, when your program is executed successfully, then you will get executable code. Understood? So this is about your compilation, linking and loading of the program. Each and every step you have to write in the exam and you have to draw this. Only for this picture you will get 2 marks. Clear? Thank you.